Well, I'm with Howard Quayle, Chief Minister, our Friday briefing. Lord Lisvane has been over again.
Yeah.
You're going to go to Tynwald with all his proposals, but I know you're not exactly in favour of them all, so that's an interesting starter for 10. You're going to propose it, but you don't agree with them all.
Yeah, it comes because it's a government responsibility. As Chief Minister, I've got to take it to Tynwald, but you're quite right, Paul. I'll be supporting some of the recommendations, but there's quite a few I can't accept personally.
It's all going to be, it's not going to go through, is it? It's all going to be chopped up and you'll take bits and cherry pick, I suppose.
Well, I think Lord Lisvane's admitted himself he doesn't expect it all to be taken on board. There are certain elements which are absolute no-brainers, and the programme for government is one. I'd already done that, so that was something.
What don't you like particularly?
I don't like the fact that I mean, it doesn't affect me, it'll be for the next Chief Minister, but once you've Tynwald or have picked a Chief Minister, then he's suggesting that the 4 heads of the scrutinising committee are picked. Now, if you've got 633 members like you have in Westminster to choose from, well, that's okay, but on the Isle of Man, you've only got 24 MHKs. Now, 2 have already disappeared because one is the Chief Minister, the other one is the Speaker of the House of Keys, so you're down to 22. Then you've got, this time we've got 12 new members, so you can't make one of the new members a chair of a scrutinising committee. So it's effectively stopping the Chief Minister from picking their best team to lead the island. You're sort of saying, right, well, the next best 4 are going to be scrutinising government. So you're sort of setting government up to fail from the start because you're not allowing the Chief Minister to pick the best team to take the island forward. You're allowing 4 to be picked from the scrutinising committee, and then the Chief Minister gets sort of second dibs, and that just, it's not practical on a small island.
How can this go forward? I mean, it's not take it or leave it. You literally can go through line by line and put your proposals
you go through each recommendation, and there are various elements of recommendations, A, B, C, D, E, F and G, and you can pick and choose which ones you like and which ones you don't. And I expect some of his recommendations to get unanimous support, and I expect some of them to get no support. So but equally, I've got one opinion. It's a parliamentary matter, so everyone has a free vote.
Is it a game changer, though, this, potentially, for changing the way the government works?
Yeah, it worries me that I have concerns that if, first and foremost, I'll park the fact that it is important that government is scrutinised. I get that. A good government needs strong opposition or needs to be strongly scrutinised. So I get that. But if you set up a committee, and the way I see it is that everything a department does and every act that it comes forward with is going to be heavily scrutinised before it can go forward, then a government's going to get nothing done. You need to, yes, I get scrutinised by Economic Policy Review Committee, all the other ministers of various committees, and that's good. But if you're constantly everything you do is being constantly reviewed, then it worries me that the next administration will think, well, what's the point in doing anything? We're just it's going to be like going through treacle, trying to get change moved forward. And he assured me that would be up to the people who are on the committees to ensure that didn't happen. But I just think if you come up with a formula that allows that to happen, you're setting yourself up for a fail. So, as I say, some of his changes I think are eminently sensible, but some I just cannot support.
And I know you're going to poo-poo this, but I mean, how are you doing with your team now? I mean, you settled in, you've had a few bumps and things like that. Do you see any major changes at the moment?
No, not at this moment in time. And life isn't a bed of roses, Paul, isn't it? And you have bumps every now and then and problems. Ministers, Mr. Malarkey's not long finished with the courthouse, but that's sorted amicably. People of Ramsey are happy with it. We've moved on. Mrs. Beecroft's getting a few issues with Ramsey District Cottage Hospital, but these things happen. That's life, isn't it? And I think obviously we'll review it a couple of years in. We'll have a review, see how people are handling and how the new members have got on. And
people perceiving the government, really, it's you and it's Chris Thomas that seem to be the ones that always do our briefings. I mean, we don't seem to get. I mean, I know we can just go to them any time we want, technically, but they're not coming forward. I mean, some of the people out there probably haven't got a clue who some of the ministers are at all because they don't seem to do any sort of PR and press publicity.
Maybe you've missed a week or two, Paul, because I know Ray Harmer's done one. I think Mrs. Beecroft's did one the other week, sort of thing.
But there's still a fair few.
They're taking it in turns.
How do you view it? Do you see it like the Conservative Party are putting Mrs. May forward as the thing? Is it
No, definitely not.
Howard Quayle's government, the rest just...
No, it's a team effort. I can't do it all on my own. You've got to have them all working as a team.
And the mood music, when you have Coleman, then, is it much more... Because you've been there under the previous administration. Is it a different feel still?
Yeah.
More conversation, more discussion?
Yeah. It's a bit more banter.
Okay.
That's no reflection on people who have gone before me. It's just... My style, I suppose, is slightly more relaxed, but I like to think, I'm very business focused. But you get more done with a happy crew than a discontented crew.
A quick word about this time. Of course, next week we'll know what's going on. But in the UK, has that really derailed things? Really, I mean, have you found things have ground to a halt? I know you say civil servants still talking, but I mean, has it been tricky?
The civil servants are still talking. I've still got work to do because whoever leads the country at the end, the UK that is, at the end of the election, I've got to ensure that the Isle of Man is well placed as possible. And it's about building up contacts not just with the UK but with other governments. So my work carries on. When we're members of the WTO, I will be seeking to strengthen my connections with the Commonwealth, for example, 52 countries. So these are things that go on all the time. So in a way, the general election has given me the opportunity to catch up with on Ireland issues but look at other avenues regarding Brexit. So it's just business as usual. There's always something to fill my day.
You've had this news that the population's on the increase recently as well. I mean, I've done some eGaming interviews recently, and it's phenomenal at the minute. The growth in that. I mean, one company's taken over a whole hotel.
Yeah,
you've got
two hotels.
PokerStar's got another 100 jobs for the island.
One company looking to relocate from Asia, 300 jobs over 2 years. I mean, when I announced 5 to 550, that I'm always conservative. I never like to announce something unless I think it's actually happening and in the bag.
So those are new people, but are we still? I mean, obviously you say we're in positive territory again, but we've still got a drain going on. Presumably, people are still leaving. I mean,
well, you'll always have people leaving the island, but I think for the first time, the figures that we've seen for the first time in 5 years, the under 65 has stopped growing, people leaving the island, and we've seen a very, very modest increase in that bracket on the Isle of Man for the first time in 5 years. Now, we're never going to turn the corner in one massive jump, Paul. It's going to be little steps and little green shoots, and we're starting to see that. We've got 2 banks have applied for licenses in the alternative banking regime, and whoever gets the first one will be the first one in 26 years since a new license was put out. But it's slow. The aggregates companies, I met with them a couple of months ago, and they're selling more concrete than they have since 2007. So the
construction industry is always a good barometer, isn't it?
I see that as, but it's not going to suddenly boom overnight. We're going to see small steps of growth which will gather a pace. So at this moment in time, some areas will be saying, well, what's he talking about? We're not seeing any growth in our area. But I see the whole picture, and it's backed up with Treasury figures, etc., that we are slowly seeing an increase. And hopefully the measures we're putting in place will help that gather pace.
Finally, TT, we won't be here next week because it's a bank holiday, but, well, hopefully, if the racing goes. What is your view about this thing, though? I know you're not going to say anything about the Vision Line and all that, but the government running these races continues. The deaths or whatever that some journalists will play on this thing, and what you're doing. This isn't something you want to keep doing, as a government. Still, is this your plan?
Well, I think Vision 9 was looked at. It's failed. We have to hold our hands up and say maybe we didn't get it as right as we would like to have done. But you've got to constantly be looking, as I keep on saying all the time, at yourself and how can you improve the way forward. But equally, we're working with volunteers who are giving their time for nothing. The TT generates a substantial amount of money for the people of the Isle of Man that we can then help pay our health service costs, social care costs, teachers, police, etc.
Okay.
But there are more people killed climbing Everest, Paul, than killed in the TT races. And we will, as a government, of course, we'll do our best to make it as safe as possible. But
do you think the government, though, should be running it, or do you still have the ambition that it will eventually be a private sort of company that will be doing the whole thing?
I've got an open mind. I think it's unique to the Isle of Man, and government having an interest in it, I think, is still.
So you're not particularly pushing to go down a Vision Line route again, then?
I'm personally not, but I'm not an expert in that area, I have to trust the politician and the officers who deal with that area. If they come up with an area of how we can improve it and take it forward, then of course you've got to listen. But
what else don't you? I mean, the cinema, zoo, radio station. Do you think the government should be involved in these sort of things as well?
Well, I suppose one of the few areas I can agree with Mr. Robertshaw, for example, is smaller, smarter government. So if we can find an organisation who can, run the service as good, if not better, than government, and it'll save the taxpayer money, then I'm all for that.
And the Save campaign, I know it finished some time ago, but have you had a chance to go through those, 1,200 something?
Yeah, well, no, they're being sifted by the Save team at the moment, so I'll get to see it in the future, but they're sifting it at the moment. But there's some good ideas there. I think if this had been tried in the UK, you might have got 50 or 60 ideas. I think it's a credit to the people of the Isle of Man that we've had over 1,200 ideas.
Some of those are not quite going to happen.
And some of them, build a bridge or a tunnel or whatever, to the UK. Some of them are ones that maybe you're not going to spend any time looking at. But equally, I've given the one about putting thermostatic controls on the radiators at I think it was Castle Rushen High School. Why not? It'll save on a big heating bill. So yes, people expect their politicians to have all the ideas, but we're not at the coalface at everything, and the general public are. And if they can see a little way where even if it's 10,000-20,000 a year can be saved, well, it all adds up. So I hope that this shows that this government is listening. Well,
it's going to be actually that bit of the whole thing. They put ideas forward. It's actually somebody, hopefully or presumably, will take it on board. The best ones.
But isn't the beauty of it is that you can go online, Paul, and see all the ideas, and we will show you what we're doing. Either we're not going to take any action because it's building a bridge or whatever to the UK just ain't going to happen with our current budget.
So you're saying each one will be
and people will be able to go online and get and see what we've done about it.
Okay, well we'll wait with interest on that.
So and that's it's going to take months, but
Finally, for TT, will you be sitting in the grandstand showing your support?
Yeah, I did it before I was Chief Minister. I'll be doing it. I'm a big fan of the TT. I grew up at Bargarrow, watching the bikes from there, and father was a flagman, and at Handley's, I am one of the people who
you'd be a marshal at this, right?
No, I wish who knows, maybe in the future, but no, as Chief Minister.
It's about your retirement already.
I think I'll be, but no, it's good to. There's an awful lot of business gets done at the TT. Big, senior directors and owners of companies like their bikes. They come over to the Isle of Man, and it's an opportunity to do business as well as promote a fantastic island. So, I'll be up there doing my part for the island, but also enjoying seeing the bikes.